Welcome to HortTube, where we talk all things gardening. My name is Jim Putnam, and this is a Bar Harbor Juniper. This is Bar Harbor Juniper, a beautiful evergreen ground cover shrub that virtually grows flat to the ground. Bar Harbor is a ground cover juniper, and it probably won't get more than about 6 or 8 inches in height, but it can get as wide as you want to let it get. These can end up probably 6 feet all the way around. Like most junipers, Bar Harbor is going to grow in a very large area of the United States. This thing will grow in zone 4 and all the way down to zone 9. Growing ground cover junipers takes a little bit of patience. The first year they're in the ground, just like any conifer, they'll sit and stare at you. You just won't get a lot of growth on them. Once they get some roots under them though, they'll take off pretty quick. You might get 6 inches on these all the way around, so maybe a foot wider each year. Bar Harbor is definitely a sun-loving plant. You wouldn't want to put this in very much shade at all. Anything less than 4 or 5 hours of direct sun, I don't think this plant would perform very well at all. You're going to see Bar Harbor mostly used as a ground cover, and you'll see it used on slopes a lot. This one and Blue Pacific and Blue Rug are frequently the three that are commonly used on slopes to hold soil in place. The other use would be on an extremely low foundation. If you had a porch that was just a few inches off the ground, this would make a great foundation plant. It also works well as a container plant, and it can actually take the container completely freezing, so it can be left out in the wintertime. The main features of Bar Harbor are obviously, number one, the thing grows virtually flat to the ground. Number two, it actually turns kind of a really nice amber color in the winter time. I'm actually shooting this in February, and it should be that color now, but we've decided not to have winter this year. I've included links in the description of this video for planting Bar Harbor junipers. The main consideration with these is that it's an area that drains well. If it's an area where water sits in between rains, this plant will not perform very well at all. That's why it's best to use it on some sort of slope. These ground cover junipers aren't going to need a lot of ongoing watering once they're rooted into the ground, unless they're on a severe slope. And if you're putting it on a severe slope, I would probably take the time to run a drip hose along above them on the bank, because the water will run down the hill. And that way in the future you could plug it in and water these, because there will be times that even these extremely drought tolerant junipers, if they're put on a bank and it goes a month in 90-degree weather, they're going to need water. While you're trying to establish these as a ground cover, you're definitely going to want to fertilize these. And junipers you could fertilize in the spring and probably again in midsummer with any kind of slow release outdoor fertilizer. And I would do it till they're filled in, and then after that just back off and do it in mid-spring every year. Junipers can be pruned anytime you need to. You can just grab a handful and cut these in half. It's no big deal, and it keeps them fuller in the middle doing that. I would wear gloves when you do it. They can make you itchy. Not a lot of pest on these ground cover junipers like Blue Rug or Blue Pacific or Bar Harbor. If they're planted too deep or planted in an area that stays wet, you'll almost certainly get root rot. If they're under any kind of stress like that, sometimes you'll get spider mites before you get root rot. They're not the most deer resistant things in the world. I don't think deer go out of their way to eat junipers, but they're not really deer resistant. So if you have an area that you're trying to cover a bank and you have deer in that area, just keep that in mind. You may want to find a different selection. So what are you waiting for? Even you can grow the low maintenance ground cover Bar Harbor juniper. Thank you for watching my video, and if it was helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for future videos. Also, comment below with any questions you have about ground covers. Thanks again.